Morning, everybody. It's 9:10 on Friday, September 1st. I think it's the 1st. Wasn't yesterday the 31st of August? I think so. Unless we've added a 32nd day to August, I'm pretty certain I have the date right. Turning on Stone Avenue off of Route 30 for those of you interested in road names. Okay, terrific. It's gorgeous here today. It's only 65 degrees. 65 degrees. What a nice summer we've had. It's been very mild, as they say. And that is lovely. That is lovely. Tom. Morning, Ron. Morning, Peter. Good morning, Eric. Good morning, Marie. Good morning, Jennifer. Good morning, Kevin. That's interesting. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people that comment. Oh, there we go. Okay. But it only was saying there were 2 people in here. I'm like, how's that possible? And then it jumped up to 9. Happy Friday morning to you as well, Marie. Thank you. Good morning, Jennifer. Good morning, Kevin. I said them. Okay. I'm off today and super happy about it. Good for you. TGIF. Good for you. I am heading over to the studio, but I realized I forgot something at home. So I'm going to have to go there for a minute. Last night on AG Today, we had Mark Maritato on, and he brought in 3 prints for the studio. They are really nice. Really, 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 really nice. And they're all framed, and they have certificates of authenticity. And yeah, we're gonna put them up in there. I'm gonna put 2 in the studio, but the Custer one I'm taking home. I know exactly where I'm gonna put it in the new place, and also it's there's not enough distance in the studio or in the office because it's bigger, so you need more space to step back and view the whole thing, and there isn't that wall space in the studio for the Custer one. So I'm going to take that home, but the other 2 will fit and be viewable on the walls. I just got to figure out which walls to put them on. But that was very nice. I was familiar with Mark's work before I met Mark, and so that was nice to hear. Then he sent me an email a while ago when we moved into the new studio, congratulating us and saying that he had something he'd like to give us for it. And I said, well, why don't you come on the show and you can bring whatever it is then. And I figured it was a print, and come on in, do the show, and we'll interview you about what you do and everything. And so that's what we did. And it was nice. He it's always nice when you hear from someone and you're aware of them and you find out that they're a regular listener of the show and they're, accomplished themselves. It makes you feel good. Makes you feel good. So I don't know if you were listening to the show last night all the way to the end, but Bethany was talking about how they're going to be paving out here on the first day's battlefield. And apparently, it's going to be a 3-month project, but they'll be working at night, 6P to 6A. And so that should not interfere too much with your visitation during the day. And we're heading into fall, so it's going to get darker earlier soon. God damn it. And ruin my life for 6 months. And yeah, so you're not going to be able to be out there past dark anyway. So I think you can handle it, and there's no need for you to say that you're not going to. Because I got news for you. When the Park Service does something you don't like close Little Round Top or close roads for paving, and you go online and you go, well, I guess I won't be going to Gettysburg until they open Little Round Top. The Park Service doesn't go, oh, wait a second, guys. You know, here, if we close Little Round Top, maybe we should rethink this. No, they say, that's okay. There's a million Joe Floreses out there that are going to come, and this needs to be done anyway. And isn't Joe Flores an adult? Why is he acting like a 12-year-old? And if there's anybody watching this whose name happens to be Joe Flores, I have no idea that you exist. I'm just throwing out a name here that sounded like it would work. And, you know, try talking off the cuff with nobody to talk back to you for hours on end, and you tell me what kind of names you're going to come up with. So anyway, my apologies to all the Joe Floreses out there. But anyway, my point is that you may feel better for a second and a half when you say that, but it doesn't change the fact that it's happening. So why don't you just learn to live with it and wait it out and enjoy what else Gettysburg has to offer. And I say the same thing to those of you who are going to say, well, you're not going to come here until they stop closing the roads. You probably don't go on half these roads anyway. So spare me. Ironically, I have had my coffee this morning. I have a little bit of a headache, so that's the crankiness. Also, I'm not a morning person. Wade's down in Devil's Den. We'll be there in a little bit, Wade. So I'm glad to see you're in town. Wade, do we have an itinerary for this weekend besides... Yeah, thanks for almost hitting me, a-hole. Do we have an itinerary for this weekend besides the tour tomorrow? I hope the weather's going to be as nice as today. I haven't checked the forecast. You know how in naval terms you have the forecastle, but it's pronounced the forecastle? Like, do the British say focused instead of forecast? Or, yeah, something like that. Just get these thoughts in my head and they come out. And I ponder them. And then I forget what I was talking about and fall asleep. The corn is high. Summertime and the living is easy. Fish are jumping and the corn is high. So I'm all excited. We signed the lease for the new place. Move in October 1st. I just wish you could snap your fingers and just be in your new place. Moving is such a pain. Nobody likes it. But I'm keeping my place an extra month so that I can gradually move. Because I can't take off enough time to do it. And also, I have to really go through each room and say, all right, do I need this? Did I remember that I even had this? No, I didn't. Okay. So throw it out or donate it or whatever. So I got to go through, do that. Then I got to pack things. My biggest dread are the books. So many damn books. I've got like 17 of them. And I'm not looking forward to packing them all up and lugging them all over the place. But we must do what we must do, ladies and gentlemen. And unfortunately, I must do packing eventually this month. But months drip away like minutes nowadays, so before I know it, I'll be in my new place. Very excited. Got a couple of good emails. Well, I read them yesterday. They came in a few days before. One from Andrew Dalton over at the Adams County Historical Society, and the other one from Chris Gwynn. I will not tell you yet what they were about because I want to make sure they're solid before I go saying stuff and then find out, oh no, we're not doing that. But the email from Andrew was regarding the anniversary festivities, and the email from Chris was regarding the winter lecture series. We'll just leave it at that for now until I've met with them and finalized things. Morning. Uh-oh, dog's barking. I'm gonna pull up here in the shade and read your comments before moving on. I'm gonna try to do a shorter drive today because I have to edit the audio. I have to edit a couple shows actually, and I gotta upload the audio version of last night's show on Patreon. All right. Ty says, take it in now. It's supposed to be brutal early next week. The heat, I guess we're getting a heat wave. Eric says, thank you for the West Pennsylvania discussion on the show last night. Very entertaining. Well, I'm glad you liked it, Eric. Thank you. Through My Lens says, good morning, everyone. Beautiful day out there. It is a beautiful day out here. Marie's doing laundry and crafting today. She always liked Mrs. McGillicuddy as a fun name. That is a good fun name. I am catching up on shows on my drive to work and home, 45 minutes each way. Very good, Francis. Work gets in the way. Doesn't it always, though? Doesn't it always? Good morning, Tim. Marie says, congratulations to you and Cindy. I'm so glad you were able to find a place. Thank you. Me too. That's one load off my mind. I was getting worried for a while that we weren't going to be able to find anything in time. And I'm glad we did. I love new roads, but hate the work to fix them. If only they could do work in a day. Not going to happen. Little Round Top will be great when it's done, and there are other places in Gettysburg to visit. That's exactly right, Michael. That's exactly right. Just the tour tomorrow, otherwise playing it by ear. Okay. Dennis, would you like help moving, Matt? No fair teasing us, says Debbie. Would I like help moving? Yeah, I would love help moving. Although I think I'm going to do it in stages. For me, I'm going to do it in stages. We're getting a mover for Cindy's stuff. So that's going to be easy because we just got to be there and open the house, and they're going to lug all the crap in, and then we'll set it up. And then once her stuff is, settled in there, we'll start moving my stuff over. Kind of room by room type of thing. Because there's a lot of things I'm just not going to need anymore. So, But yeah, I don't know exactly what my plan is. I just know I have a basic idea for a moving plan. Colby volunteered last night to help with his pickup truck, and I said, "Oh yeah, I already voluntold you. I just forgot to tell you." So, um, moving is the worst, says Ron. Have 4 kids and have helped them all move at least once. This old man, 64, is done. Movers are the way to go. Yep, that's what we're doing. This middle-aged man, 45, is also done moving shit. So is my back. James Thompson, good morning, Matt. I told you there is no time. There is no time. Ricky says, I usually use milk crates to move books, easier than boxes. Yeah, we were talking about that yesterday on the drive. I was thinking of getting milk crates because the bottom's not going to drop out if you don't tape it enough. And then you got to get so much tape to get it. It's just easier. But then where do I go get milk crates? Who's going to give away milk crates? Where do I get those? Does anybody know? Good morning, Matt. Told you there's no time. Oh, read that one. Kevin says, how did you guys find that house you've rented? It was on Realtor or Rent.com or Zillow or one of those. I don't know. Cindy found a listing and sent it to me. And I wrote back and said, rent is too high. And she said, well, but look at all the stuff you get. And I was like, oh, well, I guess you'd be spending that money anyway. So here it's just all going to one place. So it's pretty sweet. Yesterday I was asking about snow blowing gravel, how you do that. And then when Cindy came by to do the show last night, we were talking beforehand. She goes, did you see that we don't even have to worry about snow removal? And I was like, no, I didn't see that. And she's like, yeah, so the grass and the snow removal is taken care of by the landlord. So, well, I was kind of hoping this would be an excuse to get a ride-on mower so that I could just ride around and mow the lawn all day. I'm also kind of relieved because the one thing that's never going to really fully, truly open up for me, at least not in the next year or two, is time. Time to do the lawn. So I think it'll be nice to, you know, not have to do the lawn and not have to worry about snow removal. So that's one less thing I need to worry about. And the beauty of it is, I don't know, the house next door is owned by the same guy. He had someone who was about to sign a lease. They backed out, and so it became available again. And I immediately sent the phone number to my friend Dustin, who, if you'll recall, if you've been following along, Dustin and his family were looking to move here last March. And I think they started looking like in January. And they've been striking out right and left because they've got 6 people in the family, 4 kids, 2 adults. And, they got a tall order. And it just so happens that even though the place next to us is a ranch, it has 2 full baths, 3 bedrooms, and you could fit 6 people in there. And it's actually quite nice. Just like ours, it's brand new. Everything's brand new. So, yeah, I think that's, so I hope that he had gotten a hold of the landlord and is going to look at it and stuff. Because that would be great, because then he'd be right next to me and I can go over to his house at 2:30 in the morning and be like, hey, listen, wake up. I got an idea. We got to do this now. And then his wife will hate me for that, but maybe we should have a rule that since that's our home, no work at home most of the time when it can be avoided. Patrick says, Guten Tag, my wonderful Gettysburg friends. Guten Tag to you as well, Patrick. Here's a lady riding her bike with her dogs. That is bold. That is bold. Oh my God, how did they not pull her off that thing? Jesus. And she didn't have a helmet on. Francis says, off topic. There is no topic, so don't worry about it. Do you know anybody that have maps of the small skirmishes in West Virginia during the Gettysburg campaign? If there is anyone who would be able to at least point you in the right direction, it is a gentleman named Cameron Marshmallow. And he would know. I don't know. That is a great question. I mean, I'd have to check the Lano book. Oh, well, I have it in the car here. Let me see. All right, so let's go through El Buco de Lano. Like Oyster Point, is that? No, sorry, that's what am I talking about? It's a different Shepherdstown. Not that. That's up by Harrisburg. Let's see. I'll look in the index. All the doo-dah day, Gwyn to run all night. West Virginia. West Virginia. No. Who asked that question? Francis, do you have name a specific engagement? It's going to be easier than searching through this huge book. Thomas, will help you to move, except please note, I was a moving project manager. A boss, not a horse. It's all right. Maybe Cam would know. Yeah, there is no time. Ty, the next time you see Bethany, suggest she look up the parody song I'm my own grandpa. It'll hit her in the feels. Like Shanghai, West Virginia, July 16th, 1863. All right, let's look. Shanghai Surprise, West Virginia. Here we go. No, sir. But we got. Well, let's see. Chef, man, that's early on. Yeah, no, I'm not finding it in here. You got another one, or does it have another name? When you move, will you still do morning drives? Oh, yeah. I'll have a nicer drive into town because I'm coming in from the North Country. It's just straight down the old Harrisburg Road, so straight shot into town. And then I can hit the first day's battlefield from there, and we'll still do our drive arounds. Yeah, I'll still do them. Well, because remember, I'm gonna soon, once I figure it all out, this is gonna be exclusive to members, except one day a week I'll do one for free. So yeah, I'm gonna keep doing them because it'll be my pan y mantequilla. Yeah, okay, so not an official record. Yeah, I don't think there's many West Virginia skirmishes in the Lano book or anything, but I don't know. I'll ask Cameron about that. That is a good question. I've, back in the spring, Cam got mad at me because I said, I can't do a show about West Virginia because I can't find anybody to do one who knows about it. Nobody cares about West Virginia. And he got very offended. And I was like, I'm saying it, first of all, as a joke. Secondly, I'm talking about licensed battlefield guides because that's the formula of my show. So they have to be licensed battlefield guides for an Ask a Guide. And so I teamed him up with a guide, and the two, but it's like, I go, how are you guys doing on the Ask a Guide? Now, the guide had said, I'm going to wait till fall because I got, some stuff that I have to take care of, and it's just, I don't have enough time to fully research and learn all this stuff. And so when I asked Cam about it, he'd be like, well, I haven't heard from him. And I said, well, have you reached out and seen what the latest is and, try to get the ball rolling? No. All right, well, you want to come on as the West Virginia expert? Everything can't be handed to you, Cammy. You gotta bust ass. Not bust ass. Bust your ass sometimes and, get what you want. So I'm going to remind him again to get in touch with the guide, and hopefully we can get a West Virginia show going. Because the more I know Cam, the more I hear about West Virginia from Cam, the more I'm kind of interested in it. It's an interesting place, and you can make all the marrying your cousin jokes you want, but it's not. That's not what's interesting about it. What's interesting about it is it's like Kentucky or New Hampshire or Nebraska or Kansas. It's like we've got these states, but like, what do you do? What have you done for us lately? You know what I mean? Like, why do we hear a lot about these states? What are you guys doing? What are you doing to set the world on fire? And West Virginia is one of those states. Like, you always hear jokes about it, but it's really a fascinating enclave of unique living and ways of thinking and culture, and so I'm becoming more interested in learning about West Virginia. Little afraid to venture a little, further past a couple of miles off. We're now on Crawford Avenue. There he is. We just passed him. A lot of nature watchers down here at the lake. Water's looking a little low, though. It's going to turn into a swamp pretty soon. So this road was just paved. You can probably see it, but I can certainly feel it as I drive along. It's nice and smooth. Have you all, I don't know it out El Rock to you before, but Elephant Rock, very exciting. Very exciting. And today maybe we'll pause at the top of the Den of the Devil. and answer some more comments. Now, in case you're wondering, I don't know what that fence... I was told that fence is up for revegetation of that area, but I don't understand that because we just... it was last fall, I think. We just removed it. Or maybe it was early spring this year, I don't remember. But we just went through and cut a bunch of stuff down, so... I don't know what that's about, but that fence has been up for a while there. All right, let's see. Going back here, I would definitely have to become a member. This is now part of my morning routine. Well, thank you, Marie. Kevin says, have you contacted the Harpers Ferry National Park about the maps? Good question. Francis says, it's easier said than done to orient these battles on modern roads and visit where they fought. James, when I was at Antietam, I wanted to drive over to Harpers Ferry, but there was no time. You're in a theme today, James, right? You've got a theme going that there's just no time. Rich Snyder said, I like the New Jersey... Take two. Rich Snyder says, I like the New Jersey at Gettysburg episode with David Martin. Have you thought about PA at Gettysburg? New York at Gettysburg? Etc. Huh? Those might be interesting shows, but I guess some might be too long. I would love to do that. In fact, I was talking with somebody after the David Martin one, and I said, you know what? People really liked the biography. Sorry, hold on a second. People really like the biographical episodes that we've done so far, and so I want to do more of those. We have some lined up. And I think I would like to start doing a series of blank state at Gettysburg. And the question would be, I'd just have to find a guide who can talk authoritatively, or not even a guide or another historian to talk about it. Good God in heaven. I'm always tired, ladies and gentlemen, always tired. Karen says, morning. A little late here. Better late than never, Karen. That's what I always say. Dennis Gibble, we are Penn State. Go Lions. PSU, West Virginia, 7:30 on NBC, Matt. Well, great. Couldn't care less about football. Francis says, born in Perth Amboy in 62. You were, Francis? Perth Amboy, New Jersey. Marie says, Dennis, we are going to next week's Penn State game with friends. First time going for us, and we're excited. Chris says, the fence sucks. They could have put something less offensive there. Like a what, Chris? Maybe some Jersey walls? Jersey barriers? It does kind of look shitty. It looks like an inner city construction site, but whatever. I think for the fences up because they want grass to grow back. Yeah, I think that's what they said, revegetation. Matt, you should record your own driving tour. I can't. I'm not a guide. Matt has no time for football. I barely have time to comb my hair. That's why I shave it. It's not because I've lost it all. It's because I just don't have time to comb it. You bust ass after you've been bleeped. You bust ass after you've been bleeped elegantly by your commanding officer. Oh, God. Francis was 5 when we moved to Connecticut. Chris says, at the beach, they have those shorter fences with wooden stakes. Oh, like the orange fences? Or are you talking like the, oh yeah, like the little like picket fence looking things. Those would be stepped over in 20 seconds. Not only stepped over, but just smushed. Those are easily knocked down. They wouldn't. No, they got to do these fences, and it's probably some kind of government code too that you have to use certain fences like that. Like, you know what I mean? Nah, I mean, I just wonder how long. Like, hold on, let me look over my shoulder because it looks like there's a good amount of vegetation there. So I don't know what they're waiting for. All right, put the seatbelt back on and move a little forward now. Like to try to get a nap in today if possible. Oh, this newly paved road is so nice and smooth. Oh, the little pull-offs they made, or that crushed gravel. Beautiful. Beautiful. It was well worth these roads being closed, ladies and gentlemen. And it's a good thing Joe Flores didn't come here, because he would be miserable right now, feeling the wonderful smoothness of this road beneath the wheels of my car. On the wings of love, only the two of us, riding smoothly down the road, because they closed the road so they could pave them on the wings of love. All right, let's try one of these pull-off right now. Okay. Oh my God! It's a much smoother transition, folks. There's usually a big bump there. So this is love. I love this. Very nice. You know, seriously, what is it with the complaining about the maintenance work being done here? Do you want the park to be nice and accessible, or do you want to just love it to the death, to its death until it's fallen apart? All right, let's try this pull-off too. Oh my God. I mean, wow. What a smooth transition. There's another one right there, but we just did that one. There's no need to do both. Oh, yeah, in case you missed it last night, Pete Carmichael is going to be a special guest on our tour on September 16th. So if you want to come out to the Get Out of the Car tour, Louis Trott is still the guide. He'll be taking lead on it, but supplemented by some research done by one Dr. Peter Carmichael. We are all wearing scarves. Someone had the idea in the comments yesterday, and during the commercial was when we saw it. I meant to point it out when we got back, but I forgot. So whoever idea that was, good idea. So a scarf, lightweight, fashionable scarves, not like a heavy wool winter. What you can, because it's just for a joke. You can put it back in the car. Up wearing scarves, I think that'll tickle Pete, and have fun with him there. But he's going to add some stuff to Lewis's tour. Should be good. I'm going to try to do things like that next year too, you know, where we're going to have some kind of interactive thing. So, you know, and this isn't original at all. We've all seen the Peach Orchard video that Matt Atkinson did, where he had kids, that he pulled the kids out of the crowd and lined them up and had them represent the brigades, and you know, so like live action illustrations basically, or maps or something. And when we average about 90 to 100 people, or 80 to 100 people, that gives us a lot of people to make these big moves with, or make these you know, demonstrations with and stuff. So we'll do things like that. Last year we had like a scavenger hunt for kids. Special guest speakers to do the tour with Lewis. So that's the plan. That's what we're going to try to do. Marie says people love to complain. Oh, we'll be there. I guess that's referring to Pete on the tour. And she says, we are new to the Get Out of the Car tours, but we really enjoyed last month's tour. Thanks for doing them, Matt. It's my pleasure. Thank you for the great response that you all have. And you keep coming out. A couple years ago, when the Park Service they were still doing the COVID stuff, and they weren't doing the battle walks. You know, that's when our numbers really started shooting up. When the rest of the world started getting back to life, but the government was still a year behind. And one of the guys, I can't remember who it was, one of the guys on the tour took me aside and he said, he goes, I think you're scratching an itch with this because people want to do the battle walks, but the Park Service isn't doing it. And so you're the only one doing these, and it's, filling this need. And I thought, oh yeah, that's interesting. I never thought of it that way, but maybe you're right. And then that of course got me worrying that then once the park goes back to doing things, we're not gonna have 90 people anymore. We're gonna have 9. But you guys have once again surprised me, and you keep coming out. And as long as you keep coming out in big numbers, we're gonna keep doing them. And so I mean, think about that. If you stop coming and the numbers start to dwindle, you ruin it for everybody else. Because if we start averaging 50 instead of 100, it's like, meh. You know what I mean? It's all about growing the community. So come on out, come once, come often. That's what she said, and we will have a good time with everything. Yeah. And the beauty of it is, we, as of now, keep it free. And I don't really want to charge for the Get Out of the Car tours, although there is we are. What are these people doing? Okay. Now see. Whatever. I forgot what I was saying now. Great. Thank you, Swiss Cheese Brain. Let's see, we'll stop here and look at the Bryan Farms barn and the monument that's featured in the Addressing Gettysburg logo. Random Jeffrey Osborne mention. Wait, okay. Oh, is that who sang that? That's right, it was Jeffrey Osborne. Sorry if I'm talking too much. This is what happens when my hands aren't busy working. No, that's good, Marie. We want people to comment. That helps with the algorithm. It helps provoke me into going off into some goofy tangent. So please, by all means, keep talking. Good merry morning from Sharon in Illinois. Out walking the doggies around the cornfields. Ah, yes. I look forward to waking up in the morning and looking out my front door and seeing farm fields with crops growing, not college students in their underwear hanging out their window for some reason. I remember back in the heydays of the park's anniversary battle walks, been on a couple with Hartwig with over 700 people. That was right after the movie was released. Yeah, those were the days. Those were the days, my friend. Paul says, girlfriend just PM'd me asking how my Friday is going. And I said, great, listening to Matt's golden voice. Come on. While working on a Molotov cocktail. Don't panic, it's fake for the World War II Italian weapons display. Oh, thank God. Ricky Bird, speaking of bike etiquette, did you know that riding your bicycle in the Soldiers National Cemetery is frowned upon? No, it's not frowned upon. It's illegal. You cannot ride your bike in the cemetery. You may dismount and walk your bike, but it is not frowned upon. I take it you are understating there, and you learned the hard way. Is that correct, Ricky? Oh. Jennifer says, hey, I saw you on the famous quotes from the movie Gettysburg. Pretty cool video. The what? Oh, the one Gary Edelman and the Trust put out? Do any of the guides do out-of-town lectures? Yeah, I'm sure. Oh, I know. Yeah, I know they do. Yeah, if you invite them, you got to pay them. But yeah, they'll come. I know Hessler's always going places, talking at round tables or somewhere else. I'd like to do more of those, but I'm not a historian, so it would just be talking about myself, and who wants that? No one's going to pay for that. Ricky says, no, I had a ranger thank me for doing just that, walking my bike. Just a PSA for some people, yes. Yeah, you gotta be, this wasn't always the way, but now you really have to be careful. See, here's the problem. And I don't know what the solution is. But this is the problem. There are rules. The Park Service enforces those rules. But there's very few places that actually post the rules where visitors see them. And I think it's because the problem is that the park is too porous. There isn't one entrance where everybody's going to pass the same point and you put a sign there or whatever and be certain that they're going to see it. They're not going to plaster the park with signs every 5 feet saying, don't do this, don't do that, don't smile, don't do this, don't do that. it's unrealistic. It's going to look ugly. But believe it or not, there are signs that say some of these things in some places. Some of them are 120 years old, made of iron, and the paint on the letters is sometimes worn off and they don't repaint them, so it's just plain iron, and it's very hard to see because there's shrubbery. I remember one time we drove down to the Slider House, and apparently someone was staying there. I don't know who it was, but someone was staying there, and they called park law enforcement on us, and the the officer came down. He's not here anymore, but he's a little hothead, and he comes down, like he's stopping a bank robbery in progress, slams on the brakes, skids out, big cloud of dust kicked up behind him, jumps out of the car. He's got his arms ready to draw his weapon like he's Doc Holliday in a gunfight. And he goes, you supposed to be here? And we're like, are we not? And he's like, are you staying here? I said, no, I thought we were allowed to come down here. And he's like, you can't come down here with cars. You didn't see the sign? I go, what sign? And he's like, back in the road there. You didn't see the sign? No, I see the sign. So we get in our cars and we leave. And as we're leaving, I'm looking for this goddamn sign. He told me where it was, and I go and I find it, and it's the size of an index card. It might be a bit. But basically, it's like the size of the index card that John Davidson or the guy before him used to hold on the Hollywood Squares. One of those big ones. It's that size, and it says no vehicles beyond this point, and it's covered by shrubs. Now, technically, he's right. There's a sign. But it wasn't visible. Had I seen it, I wouldn't have driven the car down there. Live and learn. So you got to be aware that there are rules that you're not aware of, and that might not make sense to the civilian mind. But this is Gettysburg National Military Park, and it's also, whether it was military park or not, it's still run by the federal government. And government rules don't make sense to thinking people, but we must live by them anyway. Now, I think it does make sense that you shouldn't ride a bicycle in a cemetery. You should be a little respectful. But I wish they made it a little more clear. Even though there are signs, it's still, unfortunately, if they want people to follow the rules, they've got to dumb things down in order to meet the public at its level. I'm sorry to say that. I'm part of the public. I go places. There are rules that you violate, and you're completely unaware that it's even a rule, and you don't understand why. When you're on vacation, your brain shuts off. It happens to us all. That's why I don't go on vacation. But I think they got to realize that people are dumber now, and people also just don't. There isn't a basic level of respect that maybe there once was, that everybody kind of lived by, but I'm starting to doubt there ever was. So yeah, they could either be a little more lax on the rules and understand that the public view the park differently than it than it used to be viewed, or than its charter states, which isn't going to happen. So then they need to make it foolproof. I mean, look, and even that's not going to work. How many times do I tell you guys stories? How many times have you witnessed on these drives somebody going the wrong way? And there are big do not enter signs where they enter the road going the wrong way, and they just breeze right by them. People are oblivious. They get a one-track mind. when they're on vacation, and all these signs, it doesn't matter. People are going to do whatever they're going to do. So I guess I go back to just be aware that there are rules that won't make sense to you, perhaps, and you might get called out on them. And don't get your ass in the air and act like you're a victim and you're being picked on. Realize that the world is bigger than you, and you are on park grounds, and the park has rules. And just because you're not aware of them doesn't mean the rule doesn't exist. Unfortunately, that would be awesome, because then we could all commit crimes all day long, right? Oh, I wasn't aware that was a crime. You know, oh, okay, well then you can go. If only that's how it worked. James Thompson, I saw it too. That's what triggered me on. Wait, is this a new video? I don't remember. What are you talking about with so wait, maybe I don't know what you're talking about. The movie quotes video? Can you explain this to me, or shoot me a link in a private message somewhere? Question: did Dawes of the Iron Brigade go nuts, as one program I saw said? I think he did go nuts. Didn't he kill himself? I don't remember. There was some darkness to his story, if I'm not mistaken. Or I might be confusing him with, oh, God. See, this is why I'm going to fail the guide exam, because I have all these stories and all these little factoids in my head, but I confuse them with other ones, because in a given week, I'll do maybe 3 to 6 shows. And oftentimes, the shows are somewhat related, like not purposely related, but they're related in the sense that I go through phases of interest, and I'll say, "Hey, Dave, can you book this person to talk about the railroad cut? Can you book this person to talk about the Iron Brigade? Can you book this person to talk about Wadsworth's division?" And then, I do those episodes, and I hear all the stories, and I know they're all related, but then it's like when you get really specific like that, especially with post-war stuff, that's where I doubt myself. So it sounds familiar, Francis, but I can't say with any certainty that Dawes is the one we're thinking of. Not when we can get it for free every morning. You're talking about yourself. Oh yeah, well that's why I'm going to be putting it behind a paywall soon, because sometimes I get too personal, and I don't want to put that out there unless I'm getting something for it. Otherwise, it can just hurt me with no reward. Kevin, you got paid to talk about, yes, out at the Captain SB Post. I was paid for that, and they put me up in a hotel. That was nice. And yeah, and right, and we were talking about addressing Gettysburg and what it is. I think that's really what it is that I'm going to have to talk about when I go and talk, is like, that's the only thing I'm really expert on, is what I do. And anecdotally, the things that I see with the crowds and what people are interested in, because it's a kind of a unique position, because I encourage the audience to throw out ideas for shows. Don't always take them, because they still have to fit within the parameters that I've set. But if they do, eventually I'm going to find someone who can talk on it, and I'll do it. Some people have very, very specific ideas for shows that are clearly things that only they're really interested in, but there isn't like a vast amount of people who could speak expertly on it. I'm trying to think of an example, but I don't want to embarrass anybody. But so, yeah, so it's a unique position, because I see from people emailing and commenting on things, what people are interested in, and I adjust the show's content based on that, because you want to give them what they want, and then you also give them what they don't realize they need, and it's it's a fun little thing there, and I hope people see value in that. I hope people recognize what it is that we're trying to do. We're trying to paint a full picture of 1861, 1865 from a military perspective, of course, mostly, but also civilian, political, economic, cultural, societal, whatever you want to call it. Because I think all those things matter in really understanding the war. We all read about the battles, we all know about the war heroes, but they're products of the society that raised them, and they are creating a modified version of that society as the war progresses and then eventually the war ends. And so I think it's important to learn all that stuff, because it all makes the military side of things make more sense, at least to me, or it makes the behaviors of officers and soldiers make more sense, because you understand them as products of their day and not these cardboard cutouts of people. Morning, Babber. Peter says, the bicycles riding around Saratoga National Battlefield are crazy. Some days you think there's a race going on. Kevin missing Bambi. I think there's a little something going on there, huh? No one reads signs anymore. My theory on that, Paul, is that we don't read signs because there's 13 signs every 5 feet. That, I can speak for myself. There's so many signs everywhere I turn that I can't possibly retain every little piece of information that my eyes see. And so what I've ended up doing is just become blind to signs. And I could literally be standing in front of a sign that says, no urinating on sidewalk, while I'm in the middle of urinating on the sidewalk. It happens 2-3 times a day. And what an idiot. So I've become sign blind, right? And it's the same thing with emails. The junk email you get, also, with the way the business works, I'm getting emails all the time. I had to put an auto reply on saying, I'll get to you when I get to you, but I get too many emails and I can't keep up. So if you need to get in touch with me and you have my number, call or text. If you don't have my number, here's Dave's email. Email Dave and he'll let me know. And then once a week I'll go through, and when I'm going through, it's mostly junk, or it's things that I actually did sign up for, but like for example, when someone buys a t-shirt, I get a notification. When someone signs up for the Get Out of the Car tours at addressinggettysburg.com/events, I think, or /tours or something like that, I get a notification that there's a new sign up. Those are things that, you want to know that information, but I don't actually need to know it, right? You want a record of it, but you don't need to read every one of them. And so, I don't know. It's, what am I trying to say? I don't know what I'm trying to say, guys. What the hell was it? I hate this, my brain. Oh, so yeah, so you get inundated with all these emails that, like, even when you read one that you actually want to read, I have to sit and read it like 4 or 5 times. Like, it gives me anxiety to read. I am so sick of screens. I miss paper. I miss handwriting. I miss phone calls. Like, I am sick of fucking screens and texts. And I don't understand how I feel like I'm the only one. Like, I have such fatigue from it. I can't go near it. Like, it literally makes me want to vomit to read an email. But I have to. Eventually. American Battlefield Trust video, famous quotes. So what am I doing in that? I forget what I did. Yeah, I find it amazing how some people can keep all these Civil War facts in their head and keep it straight. My dream job. Karen, I used to. Something happened. Honestly, there's no joke. I fell a few years ago. Probably 7, 8 years ago by now. I fell going down into the basement of the house I was living in at the time to get the snow shovel because it had snowed. And I had my moccasins on. And I was going down the cement stairs, which were covered with white fluffy snow, and slipped, fell back on, and hit the back of my head on the steps. And if there weren't 4 inches of white fluffy snow, I think it would have been really bad. But I have to tell you, I never quite felt the same since that day. And memory, but also I spent my 30s in a depression, and that apparently can ruin memory, short-term memory, and things like that. So who knows what the hell it is. But I'm also 45, and you know, I guess age, I thought I would be the one person that would be the first to defy aging and not age. But it's fucking depressing, man. I'm a statistic just like everybody else. I'm aging. Yeah, Marie, signs everywhere a sign. Paul says, Matt is that guy, Lincoln Square Leonidas, still doing... Oh, Matt, is that guy... It should be Matt, comma. Is that guy, Lincoln Square Leonidas, still doing his protesting in town against the police and DA's office? I don't know what the hell you're talking about, so I'm going to say he's not. Peter, thank you. Groggy mornings still. The brain isn't working up to... Oh, you guys are having your own conversation. I think you're trying to say information intake overload, Matt. Is that actually a thing? Because I'm thinking brain tumor, and not to belittle that, because a friend of ours just died from one. But honestly, like, this is just something that I sometimes feel like no matter how hard I try to remember something, I just can't. Oh, I said there's no time. Oh, is that why you're doing this? Okay. All right. Well, now I got to find this video. Oh, Kevin, that's a great point. If there wasn't 4 inches of snow, then I probably wouldn't have slipped on the stairs. Touché. But since there was 4 inches of snow and it caused me to slip, it was handy that there was 4 inches of white fluffy snow on the stair that my head hit. I also had my morning shake in my hand, which was then, of course, spilled all over my clothes. And then I walked inside, and my girlfriend and her daughter started cracking up. And I said, yeah, well, I might have a concussion, but go ahead, have your laugh, because my green smoothie is all over my fleece vest, which I now have to wash. Sorry, I got tongue-tied there. Which I now have to wash. Thank you, Marie. Thank you. So he was my sister and my mother worked for our dentist, And he was a really nice guy. Um, I went to a different dentist, but I went to him a few times. Um, because like if I needed to get work done, he would do it for free or you know discount or something like that. So but I really liked him. He was a nice guy, fun guy. I bought my first car from him um, for $500. It was a Volkswagen GTI stick, and he was just a cool guy. Great sense of humor. 63 years old. He had the brain tumor 5 or 6 years ago. They shrunk it, or whatever they did. It went away, and but it came back this year, and he was back to work too. That was the thing. It was like he was back to work, and then it came back a few months ago, and it just accelerated very quickly. And like the sad thing is, he wanted to for retiring because I was like, oh man, he was so close to retirement age, and my sister said, yeah, he said that he wanted to hold off on retiring until his son graduated college, and his son graduated college in June, and he died last week. And I don't know. It's sad. It kind of just makes you think, like, all this worrying and stressing and socking away for retirement, and you don't even make it in some cases. And it's like all this stress that we put ourselves through in our years, and we should certainly worry about the years when we're not going to be productive, but we also have to keep in mind that we may not make it to those years, and so you better enjoy yourself while you can, as long as you don't bankrupt yourself and screw yourself in retirement doing it. Enjoy life while you can. What's that John Mellencamp line? Hold on to 16 as long as you can. Changes come around real soon, make us women and men. Like, that's such a great line, because you don't realize, especially at 16, you think things are going to be this way forever, and you don't realize you're maybe 1 year away, depending on how you fall in your class. You're 1 year away from going into college, or at least going to become college age, where you're going to start to expect people are going to start to expect you to produce, and those changes do come real fast. And then if you get yourself knocked up at 16, then really come fast. You skip a whole bunch of growing up and go straight to parenthood, and that's why it's always good to wait for that. But, or in my case, just not do it. That wasn't a choice. It was a choice, but it wasn't. Anyway, that just got me thinking when he died. It was really sad. And he was a very bright guy, like bright meaning like a bright light, like he walked in the room and everybody liked him, and he was always friendly, a good conversation. Real shame. Edward Gaines was his name, Dr. Edward Gaines. And I know my mother and my sister, they worked with him. They loved him. And they were particularly upset. Like my sister especially was, she became a dental assistant and was his dental assistant. So she worked very closely with him. Was that girlfriend that teacher you dumped? No, that girlfriend was the previous relationship. The one that made me say, there is a common denominator between you and all your girlfriends, and that is you. And you keep choosing these women who are bad for you. So you need to stop dating and figure out why you do that, and then rewire your brain. And that's what I spent the last 5 years, 6 years since we broke up doing. And yeah, that was the one where I finally said, I am fed up with this. Greetings, King John. Matt, did you get lighter fluid for your vehicle? You know, it's so funny you said that. I was just looking at my rear window and I went to spray it and I forgot I haven't gotten lighter fluid. So I'm going to go get some lighter fluid today. But what I do need to do right now, ladies and gentlemen, is let you go. I need to get back to the house, grab something. And then, of course, because I'm now home, the dog is going to jump around and I'm going to have to take her out. So that'll eat up some more of my time for work. It just never ends, but it'll all be over soon because I will be cohabitating with someone and we will be sharing duties, which will be nice. Will be nice. We're both very excited because the house has a dishwasher. Well, she has a dishwasher now. I don't. And I therefore took to plastic silverware and paper plates. Because who's got the time to do dishes when you don't have the time to do anything else? Am I right or am I right? All right, you guys have yourselves a great day and a great weekend, as Marie says. Thank you, Marie. You too. And I think, if anything interesting happens during the weekend, of course, I will do a little live stream, but probably not. I'll see you on Monday. And, it's Labor Day weekend, isn't it already? Good God. Where has the time gone? And you know how many of the 100 Nights of Taps I've caught? 2, excuse me. And I made a promise to myself this year to make more than that. And I didn't. And I'm disappointed in myself. But I'd rather break a promise to myself than to someone else. When Social Security was introduced, life expectancy was like 50. Well over half the population would never even reach the age to draw from it. Yeah, it's a scam. And then the amount that you get, it's like nothing. And people thinking that that's the retirement plan, you're in for a rude awakening. Anyway, enough about that. You guys have a fantastic weekend. I will talk to you next time.